Hi everyone. Here we are, Saturday, in between Good Friday and Easter. I'm just trying to find a quiet place in the house to be able to do this video. Sometimes that's a real challenge to be able to find a place where there isn't lots of noise. And there's not a lot of time early in the morning before anybody gets up, because the kids just get up so early these days. So, um, reading through a whole bunch of Psalms today, and here we see David at the best of what we know David to be. This is what he's famous for: this whole vulnerability before God, this whole crying out before God, the whole leaning into Him, his complete dependence. And Abigail, I think Abigail went a long way in teaching David this lesson, and David really ran with it. Just the fact that the Lord really directs his paths when it comes to those who are coming against him, his enemies. He really seeks the Lord in knowing His will in these things, and crying out to Him. And yeah, it's we see such raw vulnerability here, and a lot of us, even when it comes to the Lord, are uncomfortable with vulnerability. It's hard for us to be ourselves. It's hard for us. Sometimes we think that we have to be perfect before we come to the Lord, and He wants us to be so open to Him, so honest with Him, raw honesty. It's sometimes it's like we're afraid to offend Him when we say we're unhappy. We're afraid to offend Him when we say that there's things that we're struggling with. We're afraid to offend Him when we ask Him the difficult questions, and it's like we don't think that He's going to answer those questions. We one thing that I've been learning in the last little while is to ask questions, because He loves to answer questions, and to actually expect answers, and not in these vague sort of ways, but in a way that is very specific. And I've learned how to hear His voice for those very specific answers, and He loves to do that. He loves to have those kind of conversations with us, and He wants us to be vulnerable with Him. Even if we struggle with vulnerability among our friends, where we find it hard to be ourselves among our friends, before our Lord, there's no excuses. I mean, he's seen us at our worst. He's seen us at our best. He knows everything about us. He knows every lie that we've told. He knows every shortcut that we've taken. He knows the times that it costs us to do the right thing. He knows us when we just shone with his glory, and other times where we just felt absolutely totally defeated. He knows all these things. We don't have to go back through our history. He knows our history, and so it should be an easy thing for us to say to the Lord, I am struggling today. I am having a tough time today. I'm thinking thoughts that I shouldn't think. This is how I feel about the situation. And I know that it doesn't come up to your standard. But Lord, this is where I am right now. I need to be rescued from this. I need help. I need a way out. You know, it just that vulnerability and the rawness that we see with David. Yeah, and that's the relationship we have. And Jesus went to the cross so that we can have that relationship. He became so vulnerable, naked on a cross, exposed to the world, so that we had the potential to become the children of God. And just simply by saying I believe and stepping into that wonderful relationship. Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome stuff. Okay, so go be vulnerable today. Go be vulnerable with our Lord, and see what kind of conversation and what the results are from it. You be blessed.